Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's podcast day.
It's podcast day. Woo! Hello, welcome back to the Professionally Hot Podcast. I
One
am
day we'll have
your
real sounds for it.
one day.
Yeah.
Yo, what if we get a jingle one day?
That's what I'm saying. It'd be sick.
One day we're gonna be professional podcasters. For now, we're just professionally hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about all they can expect from us. It's not
Pretty
very
much.
fair to ask for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, on that note, though, before I introduce myself, I'm giving a shout out to the real ones. Thank you to everybody who's been listening
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who's been listening to this podcast so far. It's been really cool just seeing sort of like the listener count go up and like the follower count go up. That's been really deeply satisfying over the last couple of weeks. So thank you, everybody.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's really fun to like watch just like people listen to us, and I don't know, I just get all like excited and gooey over it.
Me too.
I'm like, people really like us.
I know. I feel so cool and interesting.
You are cool and interesting.
Anyway, welcome back to the Professionally Hot Podcast. My name is Ashley Tea, and this is
your assistant.
My assistant, Kenzie.
I am her co-host, Kenzie. I am ready to do this podcast today. I'm excited for this topic because I feel like we both dabbled in this a little bit, but also are really bad at it.
Yeah, so terrible. Yeah, let's talk about financial domination.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Give us your money.
Give me your money. And that's all we have for today, folks.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like that should be what it is.
It shouldn't have to be more than that because it's really stressful to do more.
It is. Like, why does it always end up being so complicated? Okay, so for those of you that are like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah. Financial domination is like, it's kind of your standard idea for like dominant submissive, but the submissive is just down to give you money.
Yeah.
And if that
is
sounds
the whole
like
thing.
Yeah, and if that sounds like way too good to be true, it's because it is.
Yeah, for the most part, like it really is. They and it's fair to like always want something back, you know, like you're paying for something, and you know, like I understand being like, you know, I will do this for this kind of thing, but I think I've probably had like 3 guys in my entire 10 years that actually just wanted to give money for no reason, and like that was so nice. Thank you. Shout out to those 3 guys.
Oh my god. Yeah, it seems simple in theory. Like I've boiled it down in my head a bunch of times because I'm like, I should be able to do this. Like, you know, I can write out a little cheeky script, you know, like it should be really simple in theory. Like for the dominant to assume a role of I am, you know, spoiled or bratty or better than you in general. And, you know, I deserve your hard-earned money for no reason.
Yes.
You know,
no, that's true.
And for the submissive to want to like I get that it kind of would make your life sort of kinky, you know, like, oh, you're sitting at your desk, like doing your job, but like, you're going to give this money to a spicy lady. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I've always thought of it in the, like when I was like trying to really get into it and like didn't care whether or not, like I didn't care about the people at that time. Yeah. Like it wasn't, you know, it was just financial gain. That's the epitome of it. Like you don't get nice things. I get nice things. Like your whole paycheck should go to me and that should just be it. But like on a realistic standard, that is not a good thing to do. And like nowadays when I have anyone that wants to be in that submissive headspace, like I'm like, make sure you take care of yourself before you're like doing anything for me. Like I don't actually want you to like be poor. Then like I feel guilty for the fact that you can't afford to pay your rent now. And that's not okay. Like we don't want that.
No. And you know what, I think like this just opens up the beginning of this conversation. Really, I think it just has to start with, this is why noobs shouldn't get into it. Like, and I especially mean that from the provider's standpoint, because that is exactly where I started. Like that is the entire beginning to my online sex work career, was having found a financial dominatrix and being like, oh hell yeah.
Yes, I'm absolutely gonna do that. They make it look really easy too. That doesn't help.
Yeah, absolutely. The same as like a fucking figure skater makes figure skating look easy, right? What did I do last year? Slipped and fell and broke my wrist.
Yeah.
But that's just it, right? Like the pros make it look easy, and I think the internet already kind of puts in this false narrative that like people will just give you money.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is sort of the perfect greeting browns? Ken's.
Yes.
Breeding grounds. It's like the perfect breeding grounds for somebody that's like strapped for cash and really doesn't want to do much of anything to say like, oh yeah, I can absolutely be mean to someone for money and I'll just start like raking it in. But not only is that like good luck. If you can do that, like congratulations, you have done more than I could pull off. But there is another person on the other side of that.
Yes.
And at best, you'd just be providing like a really subpar experience.
Yeah, like they need a little bit more than just being like, you're a piece of shit, give me your money. Like that's just that's reality.
Exactly. Like best case scenario, oh my God, fucking Ken's. The first time I tried to do this. Okay. Dinosaur era. I may have mentioned this episode 1, but do you know what I'm about to say?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. The first time I tried online sex work, I literally was trying to financially dominate someone over Yahoo Messenger. That is how you hate yourself so fast.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is so funny. But also like that's how it was. Like I think I was trying to do it on Omegle. So like it's really it was the only resources we had at the time. And then I, like Tumblr. Once again mentioning the wonderful site.
I know.
But like it that was another place where like you had constant, like at least I had constant guys messaging me saying stuff like, I want you to dominate me, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
You're like, okay, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, this is the internet, so I'm not really sure how we're gonna make that happen, but like
no, I just in that first like session, which by the way, did I make a single dollar? Of course not. No, because I'm an idiot. The normal financial dom things, the submissive must send a tribute.
Yes.
Tribute, which is just a spicier way of saying tip, kind of annoying, but whatever. Sorry, guys. They're supposed to, in order to initiate conversation, they're supposed to send over a tip or a tribute to show respect for the dominant, right?
Yeah, it's like the beginning. It's like the same thing as when you go on a sugar date and you're like, you need to pay for the date part too. Like, like it just show that you have the money to at least start this conversation. Because there's a lot of freeloaders, and that's fine.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, freeloaders, time wasters. It really just shows that like you respect the other person, you respect their time.
Yeah.
And that you're in it, right? Like you're not just kind of floating around like trying stuff out. So on the flip side, for me not to be, insisting on that really showed how inexperienced I was.
Yeah, I feel you.
And during this conversation, girl, I could not stop saying sorry. I could not fucking stop apologizing. And that's when I really should have known that I wasn't cut out for financial doming. Did this stop me? No.
If you're Canadian, you just might be saying sorry the whole time.
The whole time. I'd be like, oh shit, sorry. Oops, sorry. Oh my God. I mean, fuck you.
Like, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's just, I guess, okay, yes, if you agree. Like, it should be that, dude bro looking to be financially dominated and degraded sends money to prospective dom and says, hello, oh God, ew, I cringe so much when people call me goddess or mistress.
I don't like it either, but it's like what I put my Twitter as, and like no one ever really actually calls me that, so I kind of get away with it. But like it's kind of hard to like I don't know, it's hard to come up with the name because so many of those are consistently used. But I also cringe too. Like I don't want to be. That's not like a nickname I prefer. But at the same time,
people slide into my safe for work Instagram DMs being like, hi goddess, hi mistress, and I'm like, bro, first of all, calm down, go take a cold shower. Second of all, I never signed up for that.
Don't call me that.
Do that to me. Don't call me that. That's not what I do. Go knock on the door of someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
You send over that money and then you work out your terms. Some people want, just to be providing like a certain amount of money, every time they get to talk to them. Some people want to be ignored for money. That's the best one.
Yeah, oh my god, it's my favorite. I'm like, I can ignore the fuck out of you. Just wait.
Yeah, that is absolutely the best
almost one. To the point where I don't exist anymore in your world.
Yeah exactly.
I will ignore you so hard I'm going to disappear.
Just dissipate into thin air.
Yeah.
And then I've seen people do like slave tasks.
Those are so hard to come up with. Oh my fucking god. I have one of my members, shout out T. He like there's so many things that he likes, but like he's also a huge fucking brat, and he just like, I don't know, sometimes also, I'm so sorry, I just lost my train of thought. What did you just say?
You know what I was thinking of, though? I have no idea what I just said, but I've been thinking of Sasha this whole time.
Yeah, she's very good at it. Yeah, she's very good at it.
She's so good at this. You have to be creative.
Yeah. No. That's what we were talking about. Slave tasks. Yes.
Yes.
He really wanted a bunch of tasks, and I had to ask Ash because I was like, I don't know what to like. I don't know how to come up with tasks for you because we're not in person, and two, like, what do you want me to tell you to do? Like, you get the caging side, you have like the, ignored side, or like, wear this, but like when it comes to like things you have to do daily, I suck at it so bad. But Sasha is very good. Ash is really good at it too. Yeah. And I just go blank on that part. I'm like, just give me your money. Why are you bothering me?
Exactly. Like, isn't this supposed to, why is this turning into like actual domination? I just signed up for the cashola.
Yeah. I don't want to do work.
No, I don't want to do. Isn't that supposed to be the point? We're going back to the original point.
I will say that sometimes too. I'll be like, you're making me do too much work for like something that you come up with your own fucking tasks, and I'll tell you whether or not I agree with them. How about that? Like, yeah, exactly. Make it like, easy on me, considering I'm the princess here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, but we do have friends that are good at it, and they make it work for them. And there's so many. I think if you're going to start, like, if you really want to get into it, the best place to do it is Twitter. Like, make a separate Twitter account just for financial dominatrix, because or like femdom, pay pigs, like they're all on there, and it's a lot easier to like resource. Like, I literally just had someone send me my tribute, which is only like $20. I had it at 50, but I was like, I don't really like, I'm not really doing anything for that, and I kind of just like, I'll take a 20. I'll get the 20 faster than I would get $50. Yeah. And I recognize that. And then, but they also sent me like a bunch of gifts from my Amazon wish list. So like, you have people that are out there to do it. And it's actually a girl, which is very interesting. I just asked, because I responded and said, good boy. And they're like, actually, I'm a girl. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing now.
This is where I'm always like, if anytime someone's like, oh, actually, I'm a girl, I'm like, are you?
Yeah. Totally fair.
Are you?
Yeah. Okay. I had to ask, like, what kind of content do you like? Because I have never thought about making it for girls if they are a girl. And like, I wouldn't even know where to start, because I'm so used to just making content and being like, you're pathetic, I hate you, and send me money. So like,
I know
it's a whole other field that I have no idea about, but I'm interested in it.
That is interesting. Keep me posted on that.
I will.
I'm actually like kind of curious.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And this is where I think though, and like you have much like you have more of like a bratty / like, I'd say you have more of a mean streak than I do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm kind of a pussy. That's okay.
Yeah, but I can be very mean, and I enjoy it. Like, it's like, it all started when I used to be able to block people on MFC, and I think from that I was like, this is easy for me. You gotta dig down into your anger.
I know. I'm scared if I open that though, it'll never close.
I understand. Just keep that under the bed. I think you should.
I should probably just keep that. Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't have a mean bone in my body, really.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, I can, but anyway, that's not the point.
It's not your true nature.
It isn't. And this is so interesting, because it could very well be that my degree of simping for financial dominatrixes is just so high that I believe it all. Yeah. Like, I believe all of it. They're posting this stuff on their, like, clearly this is their work account. I don't see what goes on behind the screen or whatever, but like, they just really make it seem like it's very natural to them, that they have like a natural tendency toward being dominant and being mean and being like, essentially monetizing entitlement, which is first of all, so fucking punk, and second of all, like, hell yeah, girly, get it, like,
so punk. I love that.
So deeply like countercultural. Like, I'm so into it.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of looked at that and said, okay, maybe this is for the girlies that get it, and I don't get it.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, like it's, you know, it's like any other stream in the industry. Like if you are not good at it, like you don't want to really waste time on it because it just will, and you know, you'll end up putting in work that you're not making any money from, and that's not fun. Like no one wants to do that. You're not doing it because you enjoy it. Also, like if you don't enjoy it, you know, it's not going to be a good place for you to be at. I actually really enjoy it. I have switched my stuff really like this past year into more financial dominatrix stuff and made a killing off of it. And like,
nice,
you know, like it's been fun to do. I enjoy making those videos. I don't feel drained by it. And I know that like people.
No, because you're draining.
Yeah, exactly. Little financial dominatrix joke there.
A little pun there for you.
But it's true. Like I do it well for the most part, but there are girls out there that do it so well. I literally cannot fathom it. I follow a couple on my financial dominatrix page. I mean, Violet Doll is a great example.
Oh my
like,
God.
I'm obsessed with her. We met her at AVN a few years ago, and she is the sweetest, prettiest lady. But man, her videos scare the fuck out of me in the best way. Like where if I was if I was submissive and a man, I would absolutely be weak in the knees. Like I could not. I don't know how she is like. I don't know. It's just very impressive, and
oh my God,
her videos are so high tech. Like they're crazy. They're like she's doing the hypnotizing part, and like it is very she's really impressive.
She's so cool.
She
like
really
I get
is.
it. You know what I mean? I get it. I would honestly I would put money on her feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, please, for the love of God, like I think you're so fucking cool.
Yeah, give me a morsel of attention.
Yeah, exactly. You know, or maybe even, oh my God, is this my ignore fetish? She is so intimidating in the best way that I would be afraid.
Yeah.
So no, I am the ideal client. I would give her money and run as fast as humanly possible. I'm joking, Violet Doll. If you ever hear this, just know that we actually just love you.
Yeah, you're actually so cool, and she's a good role model for it too because she's very realistic. She doesn't really boast about things online. She's not like I follow a couple that are constantly talking about what they're getting, which is also good inspiration if you're trying to get into it. But it can also be very what's the word? You know, just like hard to see it because you're not getting the same stuff back. But these are also people that have been in the industry for years too, and they've been only doing that. And Violet Doll just like she talks about burnout and she talks about her real life, and you know she makes a huge effort for her subs, and like that's very clear even just by looking at her Twitter page. So if you don't follow her, go follow her, even for non-sub stuff, just because she's really cool. Like she's
really, really cool.
Yeah.
And you know, on that note, talking about like because we've touched on like fake financial submissives essentially who just want as much of your time as humanly possible to pay as like little as possible for it.
It's exhausting.
Also fake financial doms, and not like me in the sense that like I'm just kind of bad at it, but like it's marketing gets muddy and interesting here because if you're trying to market to potential subs and you want to show people how cool you are or like how capable you are, it is so easy to forage PayPal transfers, to forage Venmo screenshots, like Bitcoin was a big thing for a second there. You know, people showing their Bitcoin balances. And I remember following this one chick that was like posting pictures of her supercars and like you know, all this stuff. I'm like, damn, this girl's raking it in. And over the course of like 2 or 3 years, she kind of switched up her branding. I don't think any of that was real.
Yeah, well, I mean that's also so smart because like I think there's some weird psychology behind it of like seeing other people do it. It's that like competition style, like, oh well, she just got $1,000 tip, like I want to make it 2,000, and like
absolutely,
it's not always gonna work. But like shit, like if it is working for you, I would also fake everything if that was the case. Like,
Me too.
Why not?
I know. Yeah, absolutely wild.
But then when they change up things, you're like, where did all that go?
You're like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, just me over here in the corner being like, did you lie? I thought you were a bajillionaire.
Your Canadian is showing.
Yeah, seriously. It's so gullible. No, it's a really interesting realm. I think a lot of time it looks like it makes a lot of sense on paper. It
Mm-hmm.
looks like it's an easy thing to get into. But it's very complicated, and then potentially just straight up illegal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like you're not allowed to blackmail someone.
Yeah.
That is a crime.
Here we are with fetishes, and we're like, yes, please blackmail. Tell my wife about us. I'm like, about us? What are we
Like,
doing?
who are you?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
yes,
no,
it definitely is. You're so right.
yeah, and I mean, Jesus, if there was like a crash course of, honestly, just like a don't do this for, people that, because you go on Twitter, if you end up seeing the hashtag #paypig trending, because it
Mm-hmm.
trends all the
It
time. I don't know if
does.
it's
It's
just my
so weird.
algorithm.
No, it's mine
It
too. I
it
don't know
trends all
why.
the time. It's wild.
Yeah.
If you're some, kind of like random 20-something-year-old girl that needs some cash and you see this and you're like, oh wow, you just kind of jump in saying like, hey loser, send me money, and the
Yeah.
next person that goes in there is like, oh, I'll send you $1,000 if you blackmail me.
Yeah.
You can be arrested.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah. It's
that is a
not.
crime. That's a real crime. Like you're
Yeah.
committing an actual crime. You're not legally allowed to like threaten someone's personal information, because that's the big thing. Like people saying, oh, you can like post my like credit card online, you can post my ID
Yeah.
online, and threaten me to send you more money. No, that's a crime.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a reason that like OnlyFans won't let you use the word blackmail. Like it just is like
Yeah.
there's a lot of sites that do like ManyVids and I Want Clips, like
Yeah.
they kind of like they make sure to say blackmail fantasy, like it's always
Mm-hmm.
blackmail and something else to be like it's not real, guys. We're not
Yeah.
actually doing this. But like
Yeah.
I have so many men's information. I have one guy that just wants me to take over his computer screen, and
Hmm.
I don't want to do it because I just like I don't need to be that like engulfed into someone else's life, like
Yeah.
that's a lot to like take on, and it's also like it's a little exhausting. I don't like that's more work for me still. And I'm always just like,
Yeah.
you know what? Like, I would rather you just like send me, I don't want your credit card information. Just like when I tell you to tip, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, they
Exactly.
want that. Like a lot of guys want that. I will say though, here are some standout just like guidelines. If there
Mm.
is a pay pig on Twitter and they are, or like a sugar daddy that likes being domed, it's probably not real, especially if they are. There's this like weird thing that a lot of them will do. They'll say that they're going to send you money through Cash App, and then they'll tell you that the only way you can do it is by sending back like $50 to pay for something. It's a fucking scam. Like
It's a
very,
scam.
and unfortunately, it's not obvious because they are promising a lot of money, and they're showing you screenshots of things that are
Mm-hmm.
obviously like forged as well. But at the same time, if you're new to it, it sounds great. And why wouldn't you send $50 if they're going to send you 5,000? Or they're talking about signing like some paper so Cash App can do
Mm-hmm.
it. Cash App doesn't do any of that, so don't
Mm-hmm.
trust that. And also, like any of the guys that are, saying that they're going to send you money, they just want to see something first. Don't believe that either. They're
No.
not telling the truth. Do not pay or do not send whatever you're selling before you get paid. Like that is
Yeah.
rule number one. It's very important. And you can get really caught up in a lot of like, Cash App will suspend your account or block your account. I'm banned from Venmo for shit like this. I mean, not like
Yeah.
for financial dom stuff, but you have to be careful with what you're doing with Cash
Yeah.
Apps. They're not there to like support you.
Yeah, you
Truly.
do. And I mean, I think, oh, another word for the wise is, I don't know. I almost feel like motherly when this topic
Yeah.
comes up, because, I think that, again, it's so attractive. It looks easy. It looks fast, because it just circulates on Twitter and there aren't really any like guidelines or anything for it. Like it just
Yeah.
seems like something people could get sucked into, like, really easily.
I agree.
Um, Amazon gifts are great, but
Mm-hmm.
if someone says they're going to, someone buys you something in exchange for something else, they can cancel the gift.
Yeah, and it can make it look like your wish list has been bought, and then you like if you message Amazon, you're like, did any of this stuff actually get bought? And they're like, no. They
No.
can just make it look like there. So make sure you get the gift in your mailbox
Yeah, it's
before
got to be in
you.
your hands before you do anything in return. It's
Yeah.
just, this is also an industry that's rife with people looking for freebies. I think it's because people know that, it's newbies on all angles, right? It just seems to be a really unregulated,
absolutely is.
sort of like chaos industry that if it's done well and done by people that have like a natural tendency toward it and they know what they're doing, or if they've taken time to learn from the best kind of thing, it could be amazing for them and their clients. Or it's just a huge waste of time that is potentially like straight up against the law.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there's a huge wave of FinDom stuff on TikTok right now too. You have all these girls coming on being like, I'll teach you how to do it. I'll teach you how to sell underwear or socks or like whatever, like clothing items and stuff. But for all these sites that you get to sell things on, you have to pay a price. Even Feet Finder is $30 a year. Like, it's not a free...
Oh my God, is it actually?
Yeah, they just charged me the other day and I was like, I don't want to fucking pay this when, like, it's
what
not...
The hell?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I make like $6,000 a month on Feet Finder. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You're a fucking liar, and I know that. Yeah. And like, you can make good money on it, but unless you were like one of the first people on there, I don't think that you're raking in the money that you're saying. I don't believe it. It's hard. It's very difficult to believe. And yeah, there's tons of fake people on both sides, and it's good to just keep a wary eye at all times.
Yeah. And the ones that are real, like if you bag yourself, you happen to stumble across someone that really is into it, like they want to send you money and, maybe they're low demand at first, whatever. I don't want to make a generalization because I think it's 100%, there are lots of people that's their form of entertainment. Right. That's what they do to get their rocks off. Like that makes them happy. Cool. I also often worry about people that want to be like degraded. And just in my own experience, like, again, I can't typecast. I can't say like, oh, all these men have mental problems. But like, a lot of times you are dealing with people who are quite unstable. They're quite fragile.
I do have a story for you too as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just say, like, that's not necessarily bad. But once again, that's where you want someone like Violet Doll that is dedicating time, that knows what aftercare is, what that looks like, like that knows the ins and outs of a dom and sub relationship, because it's not as simple as someone sending me a tip on OnlyFans for a video.
No, it's not. No, it's very different. And a lot of the mental health goes into it, like you said. And, you need to I think it's just a good reminder that they're still people, and like, just because they're promising things or they are sending you a lot of money already, it's like, don't forget that there's just like a weird attachment to it. Like they're going to get sucked into this like mind game, and it's all fun and games until they do weird shit, or the dom does weird shit and is actually blackmailing you, or like, you know what I mean? Like it can be a dangerous game, and it's just good for any sort of, any part of the industry. It's just like, you need to be smart about it. Like, think about what you're doing before you do it, and make sure that you have like all your, shit in a row. I wouldn't just jump into it and be like, yes, this is for me, because there's a lot to it. It's not an easy industry either.
Yeah. It can be even more complicated when someone is saying like to you, I want to be used like a human ATM. Like that's a common statement, with pay pigs, with whatever, they say, I just want to be used for my money. I want you to treat me like I'm an object, whatever. But you get into it and there's a lot more than that. Like that, they say that, right? And then, you might be in over your head in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and that's usually a meetup kind of thing too, which you also need to be very careful with. Like, if you're an in-person dominatrix of any kind, like, you need to know safety things as far as like when you're actually like, if they want to be hit or, like hurt, kind of like if they're into pain, then like you need to know boundaries. Like your boundaries so important. Like you need to think, you need to do research, honestly. Like there are plenty of resources out there for you to find ways to make sure that you're not hurting someone for real, and like that you don't go too far, and you have a safe word, and like there, you could go on and on with all the things, but like do your own research. Google is your best friend, and there are plenty of places to find out what the right thing to do, and also just protect yourself. Like don't be dumb going into it and be like, yeah, sure, I'll meet up with you. because, and for either side, like, you know, you don't,
Yeah.
like we said last time, they could rob you.
Yep.
Like, for real.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just the reality of it. Got to be careful.
Yeah, you do got to be careful with this stuff. It's interesting because I'm sure that, you know, the same. I mean, I know, and it is true that the same can be said for, you know, for any area of sex work
Right.
whatsoever. I just there's something particular about engaging in like BDSM as a sex worker online. And I especially something like this with the potential for, you know, blackmail, with the potential for whatever, that just there's a little bit more work to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, putting up a tip option to say like 15 tokens for a spank, like, is somehow a little bit more straightforward
Yeah.
in a lot of ways than getting into sort of a dominant and submissive relationship with a stranger.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Well, this episode is a short one this week because Miss Ashley T is going on a nice little trip, and
I'm going to Japan.
woo! But we just
Woo.
wanted to make sure we had a couple episodes for the rest of the month, and then we'll be starting off our new adventure with YouTube and all that stuff so you guys can see our cute little faces. But I thought I
Yeah.
would send us out with a quick story because
Please
unless you
do.
had anything else to say before
No.
I
I'm down.
start this.
I want to hear your story. I'm excited.
Okay. Okay, so I think you'll hold this because it was I had a friend that went with me to AVN, and I had a sub at the time who was like, he didn't really want anything. I mean, he really didn't want anything at all, actually. And it was a weird vibe to start, but he was sending insane amounts of money. Like, we ended up staying at we were in Vegas. We found like an Airbnb. It was awful. It was so creepy. It wasn't the same
Oh
Airbnb.
yeah.
Yeah, and we were like, fuck, like we're not staying here. It was literally dangerous as fuck. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I ended up messaging him and just like kind of telling him the situation, and he just immediately sent $800, like no questions asked, and didn't say anything. And I was just like, okay, well, like I told my friend, like, okay, well, we got a hotel, like, so we stayed at the Westin, which was so much better and like still slightly on the strip, so like we could at least be there and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a nice like bonus. And then he like would kind of like, I remember tweeting one time and being like, I just want to make $1,000 today. He just sent me $1,000, like, and never asked for anything. We didn't even really chat that much, and like he definitely was like a sub in that way, but at the same time, it wasn't like, you know, like he wasn't asking for anything else. So it was a weird situation. But then eventually he told me that he had a very rare form of cancer and he just didn't care what he was doing with his money anymore, and that like he
Oh
was
my
going
God.
to die, and that he just like, you know, he didn't care, so that's why he was sending me money. And like at the
Wow.
time I was like, okay, like I felt really bad and didn't really know what to say because like it was just it was an unexpected conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And he like continuously sent me money and stuff, and like we, you know, I checked in with him, like I always made sure that he was okay. And you know, I also started to talk and say stuff like, you know, have you tried going to other doctors? Like if you have this
Mm-hmm.
rare form, like, you know, isn't it, you have this money, why wouldn't you go and try to, you know, fix it? And I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
was, you know, like everyone has their own feelings when it comes to that stuff, but I was
Mm-hmm.
just trying to be a nice person and
Mm-hmm.
still, you know, get some cash, so can't blame me
Yeah.
for that. But then
Yeah.
things started to get really weird when he sent me a box of stuff, like it was a huge fucking box, and it was full of like all these things from like weird chocolates and a DVD and a CD and like some, I don't know, it was such a weird package. And I remember
Hmm.
opening it up and being like, what is all this? Like, I've never said I like any of this stuff. And it was just so strange. And then there was a note at the bottom and it said like, I I made this package for but she left me because I have cancer, so I thought that you would want it. I was just like, what? Like,
Um.
what do you mean? Why would I want any of this
Yeah.
stuff?
Once again, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, like, it was such a strange thing. And I was like, thank you. Like, that's nice, but also like, I don't know. It was just like I was very weirded out by it, but also like not going to push him away just because I thought he was dying, you know? Like I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, I'm not gonna be like a bitch about it, but also like, why did you send me this shit? So then like a couple months passed and he's like kind of slowed down on the sending money side, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still like checking in to make sure that like one, he's alive, and two, he's like okay. And
Mm-hmm.
he he eventually messaged me back and said that he found a cure and that he wasn't going to send me money anymore. And that was like the end of that conversation. And then I like kind of messaged him a couple weeks later and was like, you know, just checking in with you. And he got really fucking mad at me and was like, this is my work email. Do not send me messages here at all anymore. And I was like, bro, were you even dying? Like, you just magically found a cure?
Yeah. No, that was as soon as you mentioned the cancer angle, I'm like,
yep.
So he reels you in by being very generous and then plays an angle and starts to get more of what he wants for less. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that is a red flag to watch out for. Like, you know, if they're immediately talking about like stuff that's going on in their life, it's just good to be wary of it. Like, you don't know who's telling you the truth, and like, you know, you don't need to like have someone prove it to you, but it's one of those things where you're like, you know, it's the same thing as being like, are you a girl? Because you know, like that's not the norm. And like, if you do have like, I know people that have cancer, and they're not doing this. So like, not that you can't do those things, but it's just, it was weird, and it was so weird. That's all I have to say. I just remember opening that box and being like, what the fuck? Like, it was like oh my God, even like this, and it was like stuff that was connected to his girlfriend, you know, like stuff that they liked, like chocolates that she liked. And I was like, I don't like to be regifted, number one, but also like, you didn't even ask if I wanted this stuff. You just assumed that, like, I don't know. And also dangerous, like, you know, my fault for giving him my address and stuff. Because that was, you know, and I don't do that anymore. And you should not do that.
Ever.
But like, but like at the time, you know, I'm like, well, I have some of his information, and like, it's, you know, there's certain things that you're like, this is fine, like, it's fine, but then, you know, that also could have been a very dangerous situation. And you know, that's why you don't just jump into it. Like, you need to think about what these people, like, what their actual motives are. And sometimes it is just because they really like sending money and they want to do things for you and stuff. But then on the other hand, it's not always the case at all.
Yeah, exactly. More often than not, I've found. Then again, I'm not a real dom, so maybe I've just found the wrong people. And before anyone here tries to pipe up and say, "Oh, but you were good at it," no, I wasn't. And also, don't ask people that aren't doms to dom you. Go find it. It's like asking non-sex workers to like sell you feet pics. Just go find someone that does it properly.
Yeah, there's tons of people out there that actually do it, and they're all over the internet, and it's not hard to find them.
Exactly. No. Like Kenzie. Yeah. Anyway, time for shameless self-plug for you. You may as well go first.
Thanks, I will. My Instagram is kenziebaby.x. My Twitch, which I will be on all weekend, is Kenzie or x Kenzie Baby. And my Twitter is fatherfucker, and my OnlyFans is little baby. Ashley Tea,
nice.
Take it away.
I am Ashley Tea Cozy on all platforms, honestly, every single one of them. I'm going to be posting vlogs from my trip on my Ashley Tea Cozy YouTube channel as well, so that's exciting. And if you're looking for spice, you can find me at Hey Ashley Tea on all of the other spicy places.
Love the spicy places. And we'll be back in November with brand new episodes.
Oh my God, exciting.
Yeah.
Right, well, this was a fun one.
Yes, it was shorter than the other one, so you guys are welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, well, I hope all of you have a lovely day, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Stay professionally hot.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.